Hey everybody, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa. That's the palette, if you're wondering what we're using today. We are coming to you live from YouTube, myself and my partner, my husband, John.
Hi, guys.
We're going to be showing you step-by-step how to paint this really fabulous hummingbird with wisteria. We're going to tell you all the materials, all the colors, all the techniques, simply explain so that you can create this at home for yourself. And we're going to do that live. And incredibly unrehearsed today, so that should be super fun and exciting for everybody involved. I actually think we're pretty okay. I have a good idea what I'm going to be doing today. How are you doing today, John?
I'm good. I'm very excited. Oh my gosh, we have 450, 470. Wow, we have our room is exploding with people. My gosh, may I give a big heartfelt, I love you guys, and I'm so happy to be back.
So definitely can't wait to show you everything here, and we're giving everybody a chance to sort of filter in. So if you're here on the replay, that's what's going on, because the notifications just went out. Now, let's talk about materials a little bit.
Okay. In
the description below is a complete list of materials, links, information. I have some new links for the brushes that we're going to be using in the video. There with my partner, Silver Brush, and that has even a map. So you could even find a store located nearest you. This is really cool. I'm super excited about this. So you can go to it and see if the store is near you. It shows you all the online. It shows you the logos. It's super easy to use. It's finally fantastic. And all that information is there. So that's new down in that description. The Cero paper, just pretty much everything we're using should be down there. If ever I miss anything, you just let me know in the comments after, and I will make sure I add it. Shall we just kind of go through those materials while we're at it?
Yes. We wishes.
Are you sure? Okay.
Wishes.
All right. So here I have my 11 by 14 canvas board. There's no particular reason other than storage that I'm using a canvas board. Stretch canvas versus board, it's not one that's better than the other. It's just a firm surface that stores easily versus a beautiful drum surface.
Yes.
That's all it is. This is, my first wish is, of course, because I was just at St. Jude in Memphis. St. Jude gets 100% increase in support around the world.
Yes.
Just whatever they need. They do so much awesomeness. Just the whole world turns around and just supports St. Jude. Lynette, and this is a big one because this is a real problem, I think, around the world, is that, we lose no more kids to bullying. We've got to stop this. There's nothing to be gained by bullying anyone. And if you are going through this right now, talk to a support system. You aren't alone. It can make you feel very isolated, and just be sure that you're reaching out to the people around you you can trust if you're going through that, even here, because you are a valuable person and deserve to be happy and at peace in your life. And then we have a beautiful wish from Brittany to have a missing dog return home. So we're hoping that that beautiful furry baby is back home. Those are our wishes today. Over here, we have our color palette. I have some Prussian blue here. I'm going to see if that's the perfect right color. If we don't use it, I'll update the list later. I've got cups of water and my brushes and everything ready to go. And it's time to put in the background, which is going to be an interesting little bit of kit, fascinatingly enough. So what we're going to do is the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to blend an ombre, Mr. Cooney.
Are we?
An ombre.
An ombre?
An ombre.
No. Is that a fancy word for a fade?
Yeah, it's a fancy word for fade, and I like to say it, ombre.
I like it too.
I like to say fancy words.
They were asking here in chat. We have, on a scale of 1 to 3 of our difficulty, we sometimes call those hoots.
Yeah, I'm going to say this is a 2 hoot difficulty. So this is easier than the last hummingbird.
Yeah.
We have several hummingbirds on the channel. We have 4 now. I think I got to almost put together a playlist of hummingbirds ranging from 1 hoot to 3 hoot. So 1 hoot is brand new, never painted. 3 hoot is that you're still using tutorials and you're not quite ready to venture out on your own yet. But soon, but not yet.
But soon.
So I'm going to get my brush. This is a 2-inch synthetic white nylon brush. These are really fantastic and they're inexpensive. So you can definitely find these on that link below there that I included. And they're awesome. They're everywhere and they are super reasonable. And I like them because they don't hold too much water. Now, so you see how I took just a little bit of yellow and I'm coming over here and I'm making a very light color, aren't I? It's like a baby duck color. I always like to say, get your baby duck on. All right? So here will be my darkest of that yellow. And I'm going to come across the bottom, just back and forth. All right, just painting this canvas back and forth with just this ducky yellow and my acrylic paint. Oh my goodness, you guys have to bear with me. It has been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a great decompression painting.
I'm needing it. I did get to paint at NAMTA, but that was like a lot of pressure because I was right across from the booth.
It was work
paint that I was painting with.
That's true. It's like, now that we're here with you guys, you'll have to bear with us. We're going to have some decompressed talking.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So you can see I'm adding more white to this yellow and I'm lightening it up. This is still wet. I'm coming along the seam, as you can see, and I'm blending those two seams together, wet into wet.
Yeah, wet. I was going to say wet into wet there, right?
So that's the first way that acrylic paint really blends. Now I'm going to rinse my little brush out a bit, and I'm going to dry it off with a towel because I don't want a ton of water in it. I'm going to get even more white on there. So I'm just getting this damp, and I'm getting even more white. So it's almost a pure white. It's not a pure white, but it's almost a pure white, see? And I'm getting this here because above this, I'm going to have to do this like purple ombre. And as you know, purple and yellow are contrasting colors. Maybe you don't know, but now you do. You're ready for How to Be a Millionaire. You can answer the questions. Are these contrasting colors? If you win $1 million, send me a link because you learned that info here first. I'm going to put out some of my quinacridone magenta, which is a color I just really adore. Right? A smidge, in this case, of my diox purple. Right? Dioxazine purple, but most places just call it diox purple, just the same way that they call quinacridone magenta, quin magenta.
Because we cannot pronounce Passamaquoddy pink.
I think what it is we artists are in such a hurry, we cannot say the entire name of the paint. We're like, no,
you know,
I have stuff to do. I can't say your whole name of your paint.
So I would say from like, I'm not a painter, right?
Right.
I'm a professional painter watcher.
You are a full-time backseat painter.
Yeah. But like one of the things I always found.
Armchair painter? What is it?
Yeah.
I don't know what the sports analogy is here. I'm rinsing out my brush.
I'm an armchair painter.
I'm rinsing out my brush really well so that I don't have any yellow in it. I'm going to take just a smidge of this purple. You can see it's just on the edge of my bristles. And then I'm going to get some of that into my quin. All right, so there's just a touch of the purple in here. Nothing crazy, nothing too much. And I'm going to get some white into that. And I'm going to paint that coming down. And that's going to help us when we do like our little pouncers, that the canvas is pre-painted. I don't want to paint my daughter's art. This is my youngest, Luna's art.
Now, as an armchair painter, one of the things that's hard, I noticed, was understanding what all these words mean.
Right.
Like, what is a quinacridone?
It's a small woodland creature. No, it's a synthetic pigment. I don't remember. You know what? I'm going to make sure I find out why they call it quinacridone.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
there's
like,
probably a reason for that.
And like, you know, there are those.
I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to get a lot more white into it, right? Just a bunch.
Yep.
Like you do. And I'm going to blend these areas together. And as you can see, because everything's still wet, I'm getting a very, very nice blend. This foundation is going to make our painting a lot more fun and successful. And that's sort of the important part of the whole deal, right? Successful painting. I'm going to mist my paint because acrylic paint dries out easily in hot, dry conditions. So I'm in those. And so therefore am blending. So now that this is sort of blended between these two spaces, when I do the little hanging wisterias, it'll be so easy peasy.
Oh, yeah. They'll look really neat.
Don't paint my daughter's artwork because she'll get me. She won't take that. You got to respect the art there. All right, I'm going to rinse this out and put this to the side. And we have to let this dry. I'm going to have a sip of coffee for a second.
Oh, right.
Because I need it. I literally went to a trade show for art materials and then to St. Jude for a tour. And, we're about to do Made It Con. So it's like boom, 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 boom.
And, guys, it was so wonderful being able to go there and think about what to show you guys and what to come back with. And we went with a new camera and we captured a lot of really cool stuff.
We did. There's a lot of exciting stuff in the art world happening right now.
And we have a really cool video that I would be uploading right now, except for my computer's in the shop.
We don't have the computer to upload it with. I'm going to dry this with my hairdryer.
Oh, no, I got to turn off my thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm letting you know.
Okay, hold on.
And yes, for those of you that are in the fluid painting community, there were many, many products and so much vigorous, passionate debate on all of the issues around paint pouring. It was very interesting. All right. I'm going to dry this while John talks to you, and then we will put in the first part of our background for the wisteria.
So, yeah, now if you're, I'm going to turn the picture back in here for you guys. If you guys are drying this at home, remember to use just your hair dryer on the lowest heat setting so that you're just trying to get the air to move over there to help the acrylic cure faster. Heat doesn't really help it, and if you're using a student grade paint, or oftentimes they can, heat can really adversely affect those paints more than a professional paint. You'll find that you can have some color shift and things in student grade paints. Oftentimes in pro paints, those things don't as much happen. But just keep your paint. You just use no heat as the best thing, and keep it at a distance. There you go.
There we go. Where do we go?
I was just saying low heat.
No, you can, but it will. If you have a color shift issue with your paint, it will definitely accelerate that, which is that darkening that happens when the acrylic dries.
Yep. So.
You ready? I don't think I turned my warmer on.
Buttons. All I do is just push buttons. How ready do I watch?
So this is my pouncer set that I made with silver brush. There's definitely a link to this down in the description below. So pouncer is a round sponge. They come in there's a bunch of them. They're everywhere. They're at craft stores. They're big chain stores. They're art stores. But you're looking for a round sponge shape. And I have 3 sizes here. I'm going to use 2 sizes, I think. I'm going to use this one and the smaller one, and then we'll finish out with the brush. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm not going to get any water in this, right? Because I don't want it to be all, if your paint's very wet, it'll make bubbles in your paint. I'm going to load with just a little bit first of my quinacridone. See what I'm doing?
Yep.
And you can really, how I place it down, I place down and I twist. That's how I get my load. Now I'm going to do a real fun thing. I'm going to get some yellow into it because I want this part to be a little bit warm. See how I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then my quinacridone, and then I'm going to get some white into that. And that is how I'm going to get this sort of background that I'm definitely going for. Be a little more pink. Ah, there we go. So the yellow was to warm up my pink. It's going to help me play with some interesting stuff. And I'm going to press in and twist here at the top. We've done this technique before. If you have fun with this, there's another wisteria painting on the channel that was done this way. I'm going to take this sort of randomly down to about here, where the pink, before the pink becomes yellow, because I want to be able to switch to my smaller.
So there's a phone making noise.
My phone's always making noise. I can't turn notifications off on this phone. I really need my iPhone back, but everything's at the Genius store.
See, now, if you want to really play a trick on Cinnamon, you should call her because her phone's on.
Mom, no. My mom loves to call me during shows.
Watch it ring now.
Your mom, too.
My mom, too.
What are you guys doing? That's not a job, is it? You going to do some real jobs soon? No, they're very supportive. I'm joking. I'm not saying I've never heard that. I'm just saying now we're very supportive.
I have 20 years experience in the video game industry. I have heard those words.
Yes, in our lives. I'm reloading because I'm noticing that my paint is getting a little dry and I want it to be a little bit thicker. But you'll notice that I'm making sure that I haven't made a completely even, like, banding, right? I have some that go lower and some that go higher. And you can see that I press in. Let's see if I don't know if you can see it on quick. And then I twist. And then I might come somewhere and press in and twist. Press in and twist. That's how that's done. The press and twist. You can use these a variety of ways. I'm actually making a video about this. Like, you can do stencils with them, you can stamp with them, and then you can also do this pouncing effect that I kind of created to do things. All started out of all the bokeh questions from that first bokeh butterfly. So I have a nice little layer that I feel pretty darn good about. It's a little warm, and it might be warmer than you expect. And when I say warm, I mean it's more to the yellow than the purple. And that's because we're going to do a little loose brushing, and I want it to feel dramatic.
Ooh.
We'll see if my plan is good. Now
Drama
I've got
on
my
the canvas.
smallest pouncer right here, and I'm loading it up. I took my sponge out, by the way, and I put it in water because I don't want the paint to dry on my sponge. That's what's nice about these is the sponges are really easy to remove, and even if they ever get stuck, you've got a little hole there to get them out. I'm just getting into the color that I already had. Get some white in there. And I'm going to go around and continue to make some distant little wisteria shapes, right? Let's come down into the yellow. I'm not pressing in real hard, right? See, if I press in real hard, that leaves a lot of paint.
And if a second. I got the camera just at the wrong angle there, so I may have to shift RoboCam over a bit.
Okay.
So let me.
Like you do. And you can see as I'm coming over the yellow, I press very lightly, and it's leaving almost a dry brush effect with this sponge. I will reload while John is adjusting the cam.
Sometimes I do that.
So if I want more paint dispersed off my sponge, I press in harder, and if I want less, I press in lighter. So that's pretty much just like all of our brush lessons, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can bring these smaller shapes up into the bigger shapes. See how we're doing? So that there's a nice blend. This is a real fun one to do with, I think, kids and just different people in your family. Make sure some of these are much longer and some are shorter.
Anyone who's a Tigger at heart will really enjoy this.
All the Tiggers will feel super, super validated in their lives. Wonder how many Tiggers we have.
I would like to know. I bet you there's around 620 of them.
620 Tiggers? Are you all pouncers?
Maybe 621.
Oh my gosh. Bad art jokes with the ArtSherpa. Not only do you learn art technique, but you get to tell many, many terrible puns. It's such a blessing. So I'm putting this on here. And I'm adding some more white to this pouncer. If you have like hand stuff and everything, there's a little dip here that will help keep your hand from getting so fatigued, and that's kind of nice.
I like that I was playing with it. I like that it makes you know where the twist is in the pounce. So if you've loaded like a color on one side or the other, you kind of like, it gives you more tactile feedback to that.
So many benefits.
I'm an engineer. You see, we're engineering brushes over here, so there's some dorkdom happening.
There is some brush dorkdom.
Like that particular one, we designed it so that you could put a cotton swab in the back of it to push out the little foamy bit.
It's real fun to be at the Art Materials Show because you share this love of that kind of dorkdom with so many people.
Yeah. So you come back enthused about some of this stuff. Sorry.
Right, you do. You come back a little like, it's all about the material science. You know, and people are just like perfectly comfortable discussing, research, fugitive neighbors, how many times a pigment has been mailed, and if that prevents that cottage cheese effect. It's like super exciting.
It's like going to a YouTube convention.
Yeah.
We can just go YouTube.
And we take you guys with us whenever we go, for sure in our hearts, but definitely with our camera so that you can enjoy that sort of experience.
Yeah. Well, sorry about that. We'll have those pictures up later. All right, so pouncing.
I'm still pouncing. I'm going to let this be sort of a higher one over here, right? I'm going to let this be higher. I'll still pounce up into here. And you can see I'm layering with the small pouncer.
Jen likes her pouncers.
Oh, they're so awesome. They're really like, there are many pouncers, but these are my favorites. And they were made because like I just gave all my pouncer complaints to my brush maker and said, I just need them to do all these things. That would be great. And if they could be red and white, that'd be awesome too. So
there was more to it than that. But
there was.
But it was awesome that we
were able to do that.
We'll talk about that in another video.
Another video. Maybe this video. Who knows? We're chatting. All right, I'm going to pull this out and definitely make sure this is soaking because I wouldn't want my paint to dry on that. And I'm going to get my number 4 cat's tongue. Can we see our little number 4 cat's tongue?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm going to get it wet and drag off the extra water. This little red thing you see here, this is kind of not on the market yet, but I am excited about it, so I'm testing it. Sorry. Because you're probably like, wait, what is that? Testing. It's by the Paint Puck guys. It's a direction they're thinking of going, which I totally hope they do.
Oh, that little thing there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it looked really nice with my red brushes, so I was like, can I test it?
I had it behind the picture, so they couldn't see it.
Oh, okay. So it's like right here.
Yeah, I've got it back out there now so you can see it.
I'm just really interested.
It's this flowery thing there that they're playing with, so it's pretty neat.
So I'm just going to get some of this. This time I've got a little more purple in it. Can you see I have a little more purple into the mix?
Yeah.
And I'm getting my white. And the reason this is going to be nice is I've got to also do some slightly more detailed little drop downs. So what you can do is you can come here just a little bit below your lowest pounce, and you're going to make these little press strokes. Can you guys see these?
Yeah.
It's like a little press pull, press pull. You're doing these little press pulls. You can get more white, less white, whatever you need, right? Because you're just making these little guys as they come up. I like the number 4 for this for this size canvas. If you're doing a bigger canvas, definitely size your brush up. I was painting this gorgeous example painting at NAMTA, but I did it on a big, beautiful ampersand canvas, and I was using my brushes, and I was like, I really need a number 12. That's what I need. So as I come up here, I open this up, but I'm sort of just talking about this cluster. Can you see I'm doing that very abstractly?
Yeah.
This isn't like, you've got to be the greatest flower painter ever. You're just making this little story abstractly.
Now,
and I'm just going to, again, my pink and my purple. Is there a question?
Oh,
I'm up for questions.
I was just going to mention that Anita was saying she just really wanted to pass along that she really appreciates what you're doing. And thank you so much for teaching. She's learned so much by watching you and wants to send lots and lots of love.
Thank you so much, Anita. I am...
And that's really echoed by a lot of folks here in the chat. And
thank you.
There's some folks who are a little nervous because the chat, I think, is now being recorded alongside.
You know what, guys? So far for us, it is not. We'll let you know when we see that feature is on our channel. We're actually having trouble getting that feature.
Maybe it's on now.
It's not enabled, and so it's not showing on replay for me yet. I'm not saying say something crazy that get fired from your job, right? But we'll give you a warning when we see that feature come up or be enabled. But I'm in talks with YouTube right now to figure out why it's not going.
We just could maybe not know where the button is too. That sometimes happens.
No, I know where the button is. I took screenshots.
Oh, well then that's not the case right now.
We don't know what the case is, but that wasn't the case. I'm not saying it couldn't be the case. That could totally be the case. It's just in this particular case, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
But could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not claiming that the tech problem isn't me at all. I'm just saying that in this case, the button's there and I can't click it. And everything I can see to enable is enabled, so hard to say. So you can see that I try to make sure that they come down to like a little point. Right? And you're just making these little cone shapes coming up. And aren't these fun, like how they look super wisteria-ish?
Now, I'm going to ask a question here. See, I'm
going to answer a question here.
So if you take a quick peek around here at the main screen.
Okay.
You'll notice that our little bird is facing this one way. Which I think is the opposite way of what it's facing on yours.
What do you mean?
Well, you see on the picture, the wisteria is on the...
It's like this.
Oh, okay.
There's a detail wisteria right here.
Okay. Wanted to make sure.
It's totally cool because we could do that.
It happens sometimes. And sometimes I put the wrong picture up. So I'm like, I want to make sure I got the right one because I've had a little panic there going, oh no.
I did just fly in like last night from Memphis. So it was like, oh goodness, we have a live today. Isn't that beautiful?
That's really good.
It's really lovely, right? Now this one, I'm going to do a little more white on it. Maybe a little more purple. So see, I'm going a little more purple, more white. I'm dipping in water. I'm thinning it, but I'm not making it very wet. Can you guys see how it's not overly wet? It's just enough to improve flow coming off the brush as it comes up because I want to be able to make a stroke, pull a stroke. So see, I'm going plant, pull, plant, pull, plant, pull.
Yeah.
You could do this with a round. You could do this with a filbert. I'm working the side of my brush. I'm not pressing the wide of my brush. I'm working the side of my brush. And so you could do that with your brush, but this one just makes this beautiful shape and gets a lot of stuff done for me. So I'm very fond.
Yeah. So
It's a preference. Am I biased? Yes, I am. More than just it's my brush and benefits me. It's that I like it so much. It's my favorite.
Now they were saying it does appear that there were some people got some notices that that chat was being recorded this time.
Really?
So it may be happening.
Is it entirely possible that my constant emails and feedback has reached someone in power? It could happen. It could happen.
It has sometime. Look, and this would be like that. Look, they're doing their best. They have a whole bunch of creators trying to get stuff, and we just appreciate that they have a free platform.
Honestly, yeah, guys. Like, so sometimes when you hear us talk about YouTube, keep in mind that all these services, all the storage that they do for our now 700 more than an hour long full lesson videos is stored entirely for free and available for you guys to view everywhere in the world, often with closed captioning, often translated.
Yes.
It's all free.
Free.
And
so we
so if you'd ever like to contribute closed captions, I do try to enable that at all my videos. Yeah. Because I know that auto captioning is kind of crazy and is not as amusing to our deaf community as you know.
Without revealing my source, I have the inside track that it probably wasn't the emails so much as they finished the rollout this week.
Again, you guys have no idea how big YouTube is. Like, it's a weird thing if you've been here for a while. If you're a YouTuber, this is some inside baseball, big ears. If you YouTube right now, so when the algorithm, you'll hear everyone talk about it like it's a big mysterious beast that comes through. Perfect way to think of it. Jabberwocky all the way. So it comes through. Everyone's tweeting me.
They found you.
It comes through, but it takes it a while to get through all the creators because there's a gazillion of them.
Oh,
like that's a total accurate number. The gazillion number is the truth. Sorry. It does. It doesn't hit everybody at once, so you'll see stuff hit your friends like sometimes much earlier than you. And then new features don't roll out because they like to see how they, how they do because sometimes things don't work as intended.
Is that your phone making a tweet sound?
Yeah, you can take my phone if you want. It's just it's feeling a little beepy today. I feel like I'm getting like off straight. So I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this like off straight experience that I'm having. Hopefully I can straighten back out. That'll happen sometimes when I'm painting. I get lopsided. I call it slippage. Slippage. I got to paint at St. Jude's with a bunch of the families that are there. Mm-hmm. And we got to use like this tempera paint that's also water. You guys see it at a big national craft chain. And it was so interesting painting with something that wasn't acrylic and having to like learn the new rules of that paint. And, I couldn't bring any art materials in for health and safety reasons. And, but one of the fabulous kids that got to paint with me had totally like snuck in a pencil. And I was feeling such envy because it was like really working with that transparent medium and like dropped this like incredible ash. And like all the kids around me were like completely like pros with it. I was like, wow, you guys are really good with this paint. And they're like, oh yeah, we totally like paint with it all the time. We know what we're doing. I'm like, good, because I don't. Any tips? I got a lot of support and sympathy, though. They're like, I don't know who this crazy lady is and why she's painting with us, but clearly she needs the help. It's just sort of fun. All right, just a couple more, and then we're good.
Oh, yeah.
Get to put the sort of super detailed one in, and then we'll trace on our bird, and we'll paint him in. How are we doing?
Good. I'm just in here checking out. I was actually going to go look up real quick what you're at TheArtSherpa for Twitter?
Yes, I'm at TheArtSherpa. If anyone is tweeting me, I'm at TheArtSherpa. I actually like my Twitter account a lot. I know Twitter is sometimes not a fun place, but I feel like I'm making it fun again, and I have friends that make it fun. And we tweet out really cute stuff. And, like I follow like all the best accounts. Like there's this account of this man. And I mean, he's like a super manly man. He looks like an action hero, and he has like all these cats. And they do things together, and I follow this account like I stalk it. I love it. It's just the best post ever. Like, I just be like, oh, I can't handle my life. And then I look at the kitties crawling all over him. And I'm like, I feel better. Sorry.
I had to think
This
about
is
that.
what social media is really for. And I don't know what everyone else is doing with it, but he uses it correctly. That's what it's for. Cat videos. Really adorable cat videos. Sorry, I'm still dabbing in these wonderful little loose wisteria leaves. Are we doing okay with this technique? How are we loving
Good.
the result? Doesn't it look a lot like the reference that I put together?
Yeah,
which was digital.
Herma was asking, though, she was having trouble, doesn't have phthalo blue. Is there any other blues that could be substituted in there easily? Or
So what you might not know is that Winsor blue is phthalo blue.
Oh, okay.
So if you have access to Winsor blue, that actually is phthalo blue. Phthalo blue, of course, I should know this, is like, I think PG, here's one, is if you're doing the pro paint, it's PB 15-3 because it's like green shade because they add a little green to it. But basically, you want the pigment there. It generally is called phthalo or Winsor. If you really, really can't get it, you could just do Prussian blue.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can never say it, dome blue. Yes.
Okay. Well, I will try to look up how to not
that.
say that. Now, also, some other folks were asking, if you look in the link in the description below, you will find
many things.
Some list of materials.
The things that you need to know.
But the important one is a link to our website.
A link to our website.
And on that, you'll find the traceable and the reference photo that you can download and use at your leisure.
Yes. Print it out, enjoy it for personal use, Don't sell it as wallpaper. But yeah, it's for your personal enjoyment, and hopefully it's helpful. And then the other links to the materials, like the brushes now, actually goes to the stores and shows you where they are. If that's been something you've been frustrated with, they got that totally solved over there. All right, so this I'm going to put out. I think I am going to treat myself to a little Prussian blue, if I may. A little bit.
Just a scotch.
Just a scotch. And
a smidge.
I'm going to treat myself to a little phthalo. Now listen, if you don't have one of these two, don't worry. Do the painting with just the one that you have. If you don't have one of these two blues, do the painting with the blue that you have. For what we're about to do, it won't hurt the result. You'll just have a slightly different kind of blue in there, but it'll still look stunning. So you're okay. I have to dry this again, John.
Okay. I think we can do that, yeah.
So I can do the green.
Okay. Oh, wait. So while she's doing that, we'll say, don't forget, you can find all that stuff up on the website there. And that link's in the description below. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. Just in general, man, going to NAMTA and hanging out there was really great.
I need my coffee microwaved.
I'll grab that for you. But coming back, and it was just a really good reminder of why we love doing you. I was just saying, going to NAMTA was great, but it's really coming back and having a reminder of why we do this was wonderful. So.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. I'm going to make a little green. I've got my green here, but I'm adding a little yellow to it because I want it to be kind of bright and cheerful for this piece. I could add a little of my Prussian if I want it to be a little more rustic, like what you see in the picture. So it's really just up to you, deeper, so you can see how that does that. I'm going to make a couple little very light vine remarks here. And so I've got my number 4 cat's tongue, right? My number 4 right here. Okay. And then I am very lightly dragging on the tip. This is what's nice, is it should be coming to a point. So I've got a nice little tip here, and I'm bringing this down, and I'm just making this little light line. And as I come down, I lighten my pressure so it's thickest here and lightest there. It's just a goal, right? Call them painting goals. Don't call them oh, no, I didn't do exactly that, and my painting is ruined. Your painting is totally not ruined. These are just things to try for and see if you can do. I'm going to bring a little branch out here. It's nice in the wisteria on the one that's more detailed if you can see just some of the green support structure on the wisteria. And then also, I'm going to get a little of my yellow here. See how it's loosely mixed on my brush? I haven't really blended it. I'm going to come right here. Are you there, babe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to just do a couple
I'm lurking.
detailed leaves. See these?
Hmm?
Just a couple. Not too many because, you know.
It's mostly about the flowers.
It's about the flower. I'm putting a little more Prussian blue in here. And now I'm going to take this. And I'm going to, see how I'm coming over just like almost a hand width towards the right, all the way off the canvas with this stroke. Coming down, lighter on my brush, wandering down as you do, and then coming. I need a little more fluidity. When I see my brush isn't dropping paint nicely, I know I need to improve flow. So that's what I dipped in the water for. I'm going to come back to where the stroke was strong and go over the lines I don't like. See how I'm doing that? And that's how I'm going to fix that. And then down here to a, more gentle one. And then we're going to definitely add some little branch structures here and there, like you would have. So they can just peek out a bit, right? Peeking out a bit. And I'm going to put some more little leaves. These are going to be darker green. Don't need too many, just some, and I think that's enough. I'm going to rinse that out thoroughly. And then squeegee is actually kind of cool. All right. So now the green has a lot of yellow in it, and if my green gets into my purple, it's going to take away a lot of the vibrancy that I'm wanting to put in there. So if I take the extra step of sipping my coffee.
It's very hot.
Deep breath. I'm relaxing out the week, right? I'm letting it all go. I'm stretching out my neck, remembering my body posture.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sitting down and you're painting in your lap, remember to stretch your back. Pull your shoulders on occasion because you're probably hunched over a bit, right?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody's like somewhere sitting there in their lap going, how did she know? Yes, I did. I know. All right. I'm going to dry this real fast.
Okay. While she's drying that, I will picture in picture up. I'll switch over here. I'll look up here. I thought there's some questions. There was a question here about does using the blow dryer stretch the canvas? Not really. Now, if on the back side of it, if your canvas is dented, not on a board, but on a stretched canvas, if it's dented or it's not tight, you can spritz it with a little water, and as it dries, it will retighten the drum.
Yes.
So they were asking if the hair dryer would tighten the front of the canvas.
If it's wet, and every time it's wet and it dries, it does tighten it up. If you have a really loose drum, did you say spray the back or the front? Spray the back.
I said spray back, but
yeah.
The front doesn't really affect.
You don't have to get the tightening drum spray. You can actually just use a
water.
Good distilled water. You want a distilled water so it doesn't somehow grow mold on your canvas. But I've never seen that happen. But that's why they say you would use distilled water.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got my purple here. I'm going to pull some of that out, and I'm going to take it over to maybe my first one will be my Prussian blue. And I'll get a little bit of white into this so you can see it. You see how when I add the white, the color just appears much more?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how loosely mixed this is on my number 4. I'm going to come here to the end of this, and I'm going to do a very similar stroke that I was doing here, but I'm going to make little thought out little petals that you do. And sometimes I'll get more white or more blue because I'm trying to show a more detailed structure of these beautiful plants.
Yes.
Right? That's the point, is trying to make it look really lovely. We all love florals. We all love painting flowers. Sometimes it can seem overwhelming to do so. So it's always nice when we can show how these flowers can be painted pretty easily. Notice that I'm leaving some of the stems showing. Oops, got in some green. I'm not that worried about it. Okay, that's how that worked out. And so now we're going to deal with that. And I am just making sure that as I come out here, I'm keeping in mind these strokes. Look how I make some of these bigger and some smaller, but I'm still pulling this up here. Now, another thing that you can do is you can get into your phthalo and a little bit of white, and that really changes the dynamic of the blue and can add a lot of drama to your wisteria. See how that does? If you get too crazy with it, it'll be too much drama. I don't know. What is too much drama?
I don't think you. That's just a soap opera.
Well, don't start it with soap opera people because, like, they'll get you.
Well, that's because, that's
You know, I'm rinsing out so I can keep mixing fresh.
It's good, though. If you should be into the drama if you're in the drama.
Should be into the drama if you're in the
You
drama.
could be a drama llama.
Drama llama. wet pajama. I don't know. My daughter does a really good llama wrap. So now I'm more like focused on some purple. And remember, you can do some of these, you know, they could be more white, right? We're just doing these little details as they come up. Here, these will be bigger petals. See how when I want to do bigger petals, I press down hard?
Mm-hmm.
And when I want to have smaller petals, I press down lighter. And I'm just building this up as I come up. You know, you can have them be darker into the purple, anywhere you want them to be. And it's just a press and a pull, right? It's not hard. It's not crazy. It's just about breathing and opening up your mind and your airways and your belief in yourself as these start to come together. Remember to walk away from your canvas and stand across the room and look at it. Or if that's not physically feasible because of limitations, be sure and take a picture on your phone and look at it. That should be enough distance from your work to get a sense of how it's actually pulling together. Because sometimes when we're on top of our work, we can't see it. All right, I'm adding some blue and purple again, and a ton of white. You can see loosely mixed, as I like to do. I like it loosely mixed. And I'm just making sure that I am telling my flower story as completely as I can. Putting these petals, that one I could probably redefine a little bit. I'll get some white on there. Look, watch me come here. I'm going to I kind of messed up that petal. So I'm going to be like, look at that. Now it looks like on purpose.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don't ever just stress on this stuff. I just keep going. So I'm really happy with that. I feel like that looks like something a hummingbird would be attracted to. That looks like something, you know, he might want to go play in. So I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Someone was saying that they look just like hummingbird feeders.
Yes.
And I guess that's good job on hummingbird feeder designers. They're doing a good job making them look like flowers.
Good job, hummingbird designers.
Hummingbird,
So I'm coming down here and I'm doing that same thing again, right? I'm just making these petals as I'm coming up. You know, remembering that I want to see some stem. If I need some, you know, blue into it and some white, I can get that pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to, you know, run away from it. I'm going to lean into it. And it's just that press and pull on that number 4 cat's tongue. Not a lot of work. It isn't hard. You get beautiful, beautiful drop as we're bringing that little one back. I'm being a little more timid in the petals.
I misunderstood. No, they were saying that that the water cup looks like a hummingbird feeder.
Oh, yes, we all noticed that actually.
That was so silly of me. I completely misread that.
I really like this. I hope they managed to like get this wholly developed and bring this out. I think this is a really cool thing.
It was very neato.
I like this idea of I'm enjoying the extra like pulling the paint out of my water cup experience that I get to have here. So I'm hoping that it keeps going. Now, for some drama, just real quick, another thing that you can do is you can take a little of your yellow over to this green that you have and get some white. All right, just get some white. And just in a couple places in your petals, you can add some of that if you want that Wisteria has. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where it has this on the petals. That sort of white and yellow that happens. If I have too much of the green, I get more white because it's more white than anything. And that can help also make it feel like a beautiful, real Wisteria, that little extra drop. You can see I'm just doing a very similar stroke, but small and inside the petal. I'm not pressing hard. And you don't have to put it everywhere. You just want to put it some places so that you see that dimensionality that's in the photo. Like that's in the, I built this reference photo, but it's in this. And now it's in your painting. And we get to put our hummingbird in,
Yay!
Which is the best part. Now listen, if you're like, I just came for the flowers, it was lovely seeing you today. I hope you'll hang for the whole hummingbird, even if you don't intend to paint him. But we're going to paint him, and we're going to put him in. I'm going to use the transfer method because I freehanded him out, and now I'm going to use Cero paper in the transfer method to put him on the canvas and then paint him in. That's going to save me a little bit of time. Of course, to do that, I've got to mist my palette here to keep these paints. It's so hot and dry in the studio today. And I'm going to sip my coffee to power up.
Sip the coffee. I need to sip my coffee. Oh, man.
I'm going to dry so I don't drag wet paint everywhere, and then I'm going to transfer this bird on.
Okay. I will push that button, and I'm going to just say thank you, guys. It's nice seeing you. I was saying earlier, we really enjoy doing what we do here, and it's only because we have you guys here out with us. And, I mean, I look over here, and, I mean, we've got 700 people here celebrating painting, and that's really just magical. And it tickles me every time. So thank you, guys. I love being here with you. Thank you for joining us. And please share your pictures. I love seeing them.
I love seeing them, too. It is really cool. And you can share pictures with me on Twitter at TheArtSherpa or Instagram at TheArtSherpa or on Facebook, Pinterest, and pretty much in the places that you might share stuff. And we do try, I do, and John actually gets online and we like to go around and check out what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready? I got some tape. This is the only painter's tape I have left right now is this detail tape. But this is a low tack tape, and this is going to let me transfer the image easily. I'm going to put the deep yellow side down, and I'm going to tape this down so it doesn't move a lot on me because that would mess with my transfer. Right, and I can see the dark blue through the yellow, right? And I dropped the other guy. I dropped my little tracing. This is exactly what you get on the website. I'm going to place him at the angle I want him, and I think I'm gonna kind of like tilt him just a titch, right? I'm tilting him so that he feels like he's coming in to get a drink. Is the plan, and I want his tail to be still all in the pink. He's still all in the pink. So I think this is the positioning I'm going to put him in. Hopefully it's not radically different than the original positioning I designed, because that would be awkward, weird, and not helpful. But still be pretty pink, so it's probably okay. I think I could actually, looking at that, I might need to tip the wing a little more level. You guys see how it's like at an angle? I'm going to try to tip it a little more level.
Yeah.
And I saw that talk about, like, you know, looking at things, you know, from another space. How I step back in this small space is I look at my computer monitor. And that lets me see what I've got going. Oh, my goodness. Pencil. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to press hard, going over all the lines I made. Now, for this, because my eyes are fatigued, I'm going to put my fabulously cool cat eye glasses on. Don't you love these? And I'm going to trace over this. You could use a colored, like a ballpoint pen, like a gel pen, so you could see where your lines had been if you have trouble keeping track of what lines you've already traced over. And I'm going to just freehand his little feet in, so I'm not going to worry about that line so much. I'm just worrying about the outside lines because I will be putting everything in sort of myself. But if I put in all the color lines, all the areas that the colors changed, every object, every detail. So again, if drawing is like your nemesis, you have all the information you need here to be able to paint him in. And that's been working pretty well in the community for everybody getting good results, right? Because they've been able to use the traceable to get these kinds of results that they were really happy with. I think that is all I need. Fill this all off. And hopefully I have a bird that I've transferred to my canvas. I'm going to put out a little of my burnt sienna.
They noticed that you're a Sherpa corn today.
I am a Sherpa corn. I'm very Sherpa corn-tastic. I love my unicorn horn. Oh, it's hot. You give us a little AC again for a second before I melt away.
Let's see. We can.
And you're like, why are you drinking coffee if it's hot? Addiction. Dependency.
There goes
I
on
am
your
powered by coffee. It's like a true fact. True facts with cinnamon.
As much as Janeway was.
Yeah, exactly like Janeway. Yes, I'm exactly like Janeway. Totally the same person. We're complete twinsies. Right? Right? Okay. I bet that actress is somewhere going, no, not even a little, girly. Not even a little. Shakespearean actress over here, really trained. All right, I'm going to take a little of my brown and put it into my white that I brought over here. I'm kind of making this sort of off-white color that you see. And to help myself, I'm going to actually paint this entire guy in with this off-white. There's a couple reasons I'm going to do this in this class, and one of the reasons is that if you're painting like a student paint, like a economy paint, your colors may not easily cover colors underneath. So even though mine will, I'm kind of like painting it in the way just in case that what you have is like something like gouache or tempera or, you know, like a student paint that doesn't have a lot of pigment in it, which a lot of them do not. Now, I'm not really going to be too crazy about the feathers, but I am going to pay attention to them because I love the shape of this wing. So don't want to lose that intentionally. And if you'll see that I am stroking to the direction the feathers would be, you would be accurate. We did this in the very complicated hummingbird. Well, very complicated is strong. With the longer, more 3-hoot hummingbird had this done on him, and this is still true even on this 2-hoot hummingbird.
Now, I noticed that there was a few questions that were coming up in chat where they were asking, how come we don't do the bubble machine and dancing as much anymore?
Why don't we do the bubble machine and dancing?
Okay, so this is because...
Thank you, guys.
There's a music mixer thingy back here that's broken. The bubble machine works now. I have bubbles. We did find those, and I can turn them on. Well, it's packed for Made It Con. But when we get back, we can put it back up, and I have ordered the part so that I can fix the mixery thingy and make music bring in. That's the reason why we don't have a lot of music right now is because...
And everything from the crowdfunder, you're going to start actually... being aware of it coming together after Made It Con.
Yeah, we have all the cameras. You guys just haven't seen anything produced with them because I've been practicing, and we wanted to make it look all cool.
Yeah, turning these things on. You had to take a bunch of training classes, too.
I was like, I had to go to broadcast school.
It was more than let's just say this. It was more than a money problem.
Yeah. It was, I had to go learn stuff.
You had to go learn stuff. Yeah, definitely had to go learn stuff for sure.
Yeah, I just as like I had trouble turning on the camera just to make it like record stuff. It was that complicated. It's not like a handy cam.
No, definitely an upgrade in equipment. But it does see everything better, and now we can share some pretty exciting stuff with you about brush strokes, about techniques, about care. You'll be able to see all those hard to see colors on the painting, so you can really see when I do a dark painting. So if I want to do black fur or white fur, and there's some subtle differences in that fur, and the new stuff can see it, which is why it's been a real problem to teach up until now, because how do you show, like, oh, well, this is this warm black, and this is this cool black, and that's how it's very tough to see, is all I'm saying. All right, we're going to just go ahead and make sure. Now, this Cero paper does clean up in a similar way as to chalk with just some water. So you would be able to clean that up the same way as you would if you did this in chalk or graphite. So no worries. Now that he's painted in, I'm going to rinse this out. I will probably keep these glasses on quite a bit because it's super hard to see. I'm going to have John turn off the AC for 2 seconds and then turn it back on. I just need to dry him so I can do the pink and the green and all the different colors because he's so colorful. It's so colorful. Mr. Hummingbird.
Okay. All right. Just making sure all the sound is set and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And there was a question that came up here in chat. What did she use? That was Serral transfer paper to make that. I think there's a link to it in the description below. You find that stuff. All of the information is in the links in the description below. So find that on there. And just make sure you use it, like you said, low heat there. Okay.
Yay! I'm so excited. Were you talking to everybody?
Yeah, they were just asking about Serral paper and.
Oh, I like Serral paper a lot. Some of the colors bleed through, but I found the yellow and the white to be fantastic. The red's a little overpowering. I'm taking a little bit of my white and mixing it into my magenta because I find that brings the pink up so you can really see it. So see how we have it to this bright pink? And you're going to come here and you're going to come right under his little chinny chin. And we're going to give him a little bit of his pink. And I might switch my brush to this upright area here. That way I can kind of pull a little feather-like stroke. See, I'm pulling a little feather texture. So there's a little bit of that feather implied in the texture of the paints. One of the great things about heavy body paint is it will do that for you. I'm going to do this dark color just at the chin here. And then I'll offload. You see how I just sort of wipe that out? And I'm going to get a little more white into my brush. So I have a lighter pink. Now I know I've got this little wing here, so I've got to remember, you know, where that little guy goes. I can still see my yellow line. If you can't, you may need to give yourself a little more of the info in your tracing. And come here, and I'm going to keep making these little, see how I'm pressing and making these little feather strokes? And you can bring this into the pink a little bit. That's all that is. Is everything okay?
Yeah. In the chat, they were asking about the tape that you use.
Okay, so that is...
low-tack tape?
Okay, don't tell my mom I took her tape.
What's that?
Don't tell my mom I took her tape.
Oh,
my mom would always have rolls of these around. This is my mom's, which is why she put her name on it, so I wouldn't take her tape, but I took her tape. This is painter's tape. It is a 1/4 inch wide, and it's fantastic for details. I always want to send some to Kimberly Ann because she does all those geometric pieces, and this would like give her like the crispest lines ever. But it's only low-tack tape I had, so I had to use it on my traceable. Don't tell anyone.
So
appropriate use of that. I'm taking my pink over to my yellow before I get in tons of trouble.
In general, guys, low-tack tape is really a worthwhile investment in your studio. And based on the chat conversation, highly suggest you guys take a look into it. It's good tool.
Now, I've taken a little of the pink and I added some yellow and some white. See how I'm warming that up? And I'm giving it a little bit of that like pop there. And then go ahead and get in more yellow even into it as you go. And then I'm going to add, but I haven't rinsed my brush. See, and I'm just adding those little brush strokes. Aren't those lovely? And I'll bring this into this here. If it gets away from you, you can always just wipe off and get a little of your original pink and come back and blend. See how I'm blending? So that these different colors are well blended together. It doesn't take too much. So now we've got that in. That looks pretty nice. Got some nice little pink going as we would want. You can even take a little of it into the brown and white. You would not necessarily expect that, but it's wonderful. And you know how you've got the wing here. You can take these little feathers down. See how they're just a little bit pinkish? Down the belly a bit. And then leaving a little bit of where the green is going to be showing at the back. There you go. So nice. So nice. And a little bit here. Just dashing out those little feather strokes, right? Under the eye. And we'll be coming back with the green, and he will just pop. So those are super pretty. And he looks super pretty. So I'm going to take a little of my Prussian and my green together. See how we're doing? And I'm going to put a little of that right here where the beak joins his little forehead here. Again, in little dashes, nothing crazy. And then at the back of the head, you can always dash this into his other feathers. And I may even get a little of my brown into it. See how dark I'm getting it right now? And then just make sure that right here at the back of the neck that it's quite, see, dap, 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 dap. That's quite dark, isn't it? You know, and it can be kind of quite dark right here if it needs to be. I think that'll be maybe a little bit right here, just a tapping. I'll rinse out and just get back into my beautiful green. So I've got my beautiful green here, and I'm going to add just a smidge of my yellow to pull up the color so it's quite bright. And we're going to just paint everything else with this nice green. This is our green to start. We're going to come back with a highlight in a second, but you're just wanting to see his little green first, right?
Yeah.
And then a little bit of green that comes under his wing. Now, you can take this almost too far because when you come back with the wing stroke, it'll help you define that. And that you will like. You'll be like, oh, that was nice. And look, I'm making the little dashes to help define the feathers that are there. As you do. Being a little bit careful here. I'm going to get my green on my brush. I'm loading even a little more phthalo. And the first one that I have where I'm going to pull down is I'm going to go like that. See how I'm pulling that nice round little feather in? Into there, because that's his little tail. The hummingbirds have this beautiful sort of like tail curve. Now come to the bottom because you'll have to layer these up. Pull a stroke like that at the bottom where you had that stroke. And then you're going to come right here and layer over it. See how we're layering? Another little brush stroke. That's another little tail feather. Shake your tail feathers. And then we can blend right here. See how we're doing? So that way they're layered correctly. I'm going to definitely along this top feather. I'm going to pull down. We're going to just definitely take a little bit of this. Now, I'm not going to worry so much about the exact feather strokes here because those are going to get pulled in. So you see I'm letting it sort of feather out. But as we come up to this, it tightens up right there. The whole far wing is a lot more yellow and the green, and you might want to even grab some white this time because it's a much lighter wing. So and it's all green. Get that very carefully around these little parts here so that they have a nice crisp edge. And I'm going to pull back in the direction of my feathers like we talked about. See how we're doing?
Yeah.
There we go. That's sort of nice. That's sort of lovely. I'm going to rinse out a little bit like you sometimes do. Right? And now I'm going to get a lot more yellow in some of my green. See how I'm doing? A lot more yellow in some of my green. And just dash a little bit of these strokes right here. A bit up over the eye. See how we're just going tap, tap, tap? And a little bit here and there. And then come to the tip of this feather and pull down, and the tip of this nice feather. Pulling down. See, so we're just sort of highlighting the interior of the feathers. A little water in my brush if I need it. Oh, don't want to get the white yet. I just want the yellow. Oh, no. I got my brush dirty. Rinse out your brush if ever you get it dirty. Maybe a good time to change water, too, if your colors are getting in any way muddy. Not from, like, what I obviously did there, which is not working.
Right.
But from your water having too much pigment in it. So I'm just getting back and making that bright yellow that I'm using, that I'm really liking. So definitely come here and like right along here, maybe just pull this back a bit. And then just in the center of this wing, I'm making some little feather strokes. See how we're doing?
Yep.
Some little feathery strokes. And then he could use some of these here. He's got some of these light, bright green feathers coming down here. And we can talk about those. What's wonderful is if we're going to talk about these on his little feathers, come to the end, pull up, come to the end, pull up, come to the end, pull up, and come to the end and pull in. Look at that. Not a lot of work, is it?
Wow.
I'm going to get a bunch of white in this mix. See how bright that is? And right here at the top, I'm going to make a bright highlight. See this bright highlight?
Yeah.
Right there. You can add a couple of these into his feathers, saying that these are shiny. And we're going to bring some of this in from the end of his feathers here. You can even right here add a couple of these little dots, saying that this part of his wing is maybe a little shiny. Isn't it amazing how he goes in super fast?
It really is.
Let's put a little bright green like right here. Look at him go. Maybe at the tip a little bit. Look at that. Just so cute. He's so cute. He's so adorable. So he's almost done.
Wow.
I know. He's so cute. I'm going to sip my coffee, and then I'm going to finish him out. I'm going to look at him. He's just coming in, isn't he? It's like he's revealed in the...
I'm going to have to stunt hands you. Your glasses did your mic.
Oh. Also, they're covered in paint. Eep. Eep.
There you go.
Eep. Eep, eep, eep.
We're back.
Do, 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 do.
You know, guys, I'm going to say thank you again for making it possible for us to do this together.
Yeah. We are very grateful to be able to do this. It's like art. There's still stuff all over me. I'm grateful. I just can't see.
Oh, and just as an aside, thank you guys for coming and hanging out.
Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it.
Your glasses better?
I think they're as good as they're going to get unless I clean them with some rubbing alcohol. So I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone over to my burnt umber. Isn't that interesting? And I'm going to rosy that up a bit like we did before. I'm going to get a bunch of the white. All right. There we go.
Joanne says this is her favorite hummingbird yet.
This is mine too. I'm loving him. I'm going to come with a second brush stroke of this fabulous white. Isn't that fantastic? At each feather where I had these feathers. And you can see I'm just using the brush to show that feather, which I'm loving. And then definitely in this belly, I'm going to bring this here. And I might let it show the little feathers along his little belly as well. You can always, maybe they come in here a little bit, you know, like they do. They like to make little shines elsewhere. Maybe a little more white. And let's come underneath the eye, like you do, and let's just dot in some of these little feathers that he has around his eye. Look at that little dot. Little
Wow.
He's loving it. Give him a couple little highlights right here and there, maybe a little bit on his belly. See how that's just one lighter shade? Maybe I highlight the belly a little bit more right here. And I could come and add a little bit to the tips down here. So just like the stroke is really doing the work for me. Like it does. Now I can get into my darker brown and red. All right, here we go. And I can come along on the inside here, even on the outside of each feather. See how we're doing? And I'm outlining each feather. See the outline?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. We can even come along the outside of these feathers a little bit. I want to leave the tips white.
Yep.
But I really like that. And I'm definitely going to be adding some darker color here on this outer edge of the little belly. His little hummingbird belly that he's so hungry that he's getting stuff, right? So I'm just taking a little more of the quinacridone and the burnt umber. And I'm going to take some of this and sort of blend it out, these little feathers. Now we're done. So that's right here. And maybe pull this into this space a little bit. We're starting to shade that. Get a little bit more for this outer edge. Go just a little bit down his little belly. Little taps, little taps. It's little taps. And then we can always like kind of come in and darken those a bit. Might actually just like put in some of this at the bottom of his little beak. But I want to leave a little highlight. See, I'm leaving a little highlight?
Yeah.
Of his little beak. There can be like even a little tap, 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 tap right here at the eye and back here. Because we're tapping, we're saying, hey, there's some color, there's some vibrance, there's some stuff afoot. Now I'm looking and I've got to sort of blend my green I'm seeing. So I just rinsed out my brush. I'm just getting some of my green with my yellow here. I'm just going to make sure that some of my little green feathers sort of come here into my wings. See how we're doing?
Oh, yeah.
So that's, you know, well thought out. If I need to tap a little bit of that edge in there, I got to have that. Now, lastly is the cool dark tone. We might add one more highlight in the wing and the belly. But we've got to get a dark value in, and then we'll be able to see our last highlight pretty easily and our feetsies. So go ahead and take your burnt umber and add a little of your Prussian to it or your black if you don't have the Prussian. There we go. And it's going to make a very dark and cool blue. And we're going to put in our little back feather wings. See how we have here?
Mm-hmm.
And there they are coming in. This row of feathers that is coming back on this wing. You can even add a little bit of this coming out, defining each feather. There we go. Just a little Prussian and brown. A little water. I'm going to be a little more brown on the bottom tail feathers than blue. You can see. Coming around the outside edge. Just going to shade that around this outside edge. Shading that. Coming around. Very softly, see on the tip. If you don't, if you need a detail, you know, definitely get one of those. We're looking for a little, I've got hair up on the, above the eye, like a little bit around the eye, and we're going to just show a little bit of this here and there at the belly. And you can take some of this at the bottom of the beak. Divide it in half so you get a nice little beak happening here. And I'm going to go ahead and put this color in the eye. I'll have to switch to my details when I do my eye, but I can get a lot of this work in with just this number 4. So there we go. We have some nice little stuff. And then I definitely think I need some little highlights. Don't you see some needs for some highlights?
I love the highlights.
Highlights are always happy and wonderful. So I'm going to look at him and go, where would I like some highlights? It's always interesting to translate something that was basically essentially watercolor into acrylic.
Now, there's a lot of people who are asking you if you would demonstrate some of these things in watercolor here.
I am actually thinking of doing some of that. Because I do like it.
Because this could be done in watercolor, couldn't it?
Very beautifully in watercolor. So see how I'm just putting the highlight on the wings there?
Yeah.
His little belly needs a highlight. It needs to be very bright. Right here. His little bright highlight on his little belly. Needs to be like, I'm well fed. I'm so cute. And then we can just, add some of these to his little iridescent feathers, right? Because there's a little reflection. And maybe something right on the top of the beak. And even right up here in the center of his head. See how we're doing a little high reflection there?
Yeah.
Okay to add these little areas that show that he has something shiny going on. And then at the tip, all of these feathers. So we're going to pull in. There we go. Perfect. He's fantastic. So while I'm letting all the big work dry, which is what I'm doing, right? I'm letting all the big work dry. I'm going to do the eye detailing so his eye looks alive and shiny, and I'm going to give him little feet. And to do that, I'm going to need to use one of my detail brushes. And I do have those listed down below. Now, you could use fluid paint to make this job easier, but I'm going to show you how to take your heavy-bodied and thin it out so that you can use it. So I've got this water mister here. This particular one is, I guess, by heroarts.com. I don't know. A lot of companies make these. I think a lot of makeup companies make them. They don't do the big droplets. They do small droplets. And I'm going to thin out. You can see I'm just mixing my heavy-bodied paint with this brush into the water. You could probably use a palette knife too. But I'm just getting this thin enough so that if I wanted to use it anywhere, I could. I can bring some of my brown over here. Get some of that. I'm taking my brown because there's definitely some brown. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come around his beautiful little eye with this brown and define the shape. Right? This beautiful brown. Deep brown. And if you've got to tap that out to blend those in, you can kind of work out his little beak here if you want to make that a sharper point with your detail. See how we're doing? Tap that in. That looks pretty good. I'm going to get a little of my black and brown where it's almost pure black. And I think this is, dry enough now. So I'm going to do this thing first right here in the center. I'm going to put in his little foot. So when they feed, they tuck their little teeny tiny little feet in. So the first little foot that I'm going to do is the one that's kind of like in his little body. So see how I've made that little hook shape? It looks like a talon.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make a little friend to it right here. See how we've done?
Oh, yeah.
Just thinly defined and thought out. And then one in foreshortened, so it'll be a little bit smaller than its friends. A little smaller than his friends. But he has to have one over here, right? But it's sort of like on the other side. So that foot would be peeking out a bit. I'm only going to see 2 of the points on that. Right?
Yeah.
And the feet should be about the same size. And that's what we have there. Now, I have my brown and my black, and I'm going to get a little of my white. I'm going to start with this highlight color. See this right here?
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in, and just right here in the center, inside the eye. So this is the lid. This isn't inside where the eye is. This is the outer lid that I'm creating this highlight on, right? And so there's a darker ridge here, and then this eye has something going on I can pull. And that's going to help me define that. While I've got this, I'm going to take this light color that I've made, maybe even a little lighter, and right in the middle of the feet, I'm going to make just a small highlight. So it's black on the outside, but there's just a little highlight, a little shine on the feet. I'm going to rinse that out. All right. And now I'm going to get my jet black. You can even add Prussian blue to it if you need it to be darker. It's a really weird trick, but you can do it. If you don't have Prussian blue or phthalo blue or something, don't worry about it. will still be great black. If I'm having trouble mixing, like getting the water that's on the palette, I can always miss more out. So now I've got this. I'm going to come inside this eye and really, really darken things up. See how we've done? Just carefully. Oh, that's lovely. We're going to let that have a little minute to rest. And while it's resting, I'm going to get my white. And I'm going to make a very light color here at the outer edge. I'm going to come inside the feet again with a high highlight. See how I have?
Yeah.
So there's like 3 levels of highlight. I'm even going to take this moment to fix any mistakes that I've made on my beak with my highlighted beak. I'm going to rinse out really, 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 really well. I'm going to take a little of my yellow and my brown. I'll mix them together. It's going to be kind of weird. I want to have a light brown. I want to be able to see that brown. And right here, underneath his eye, I'm going to tap in a little of this brown. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
There we go. He's got layers.
Yes.
I'm going to take that light color that I had that wasn't pure white, but was light, right? And I'm going to make a little reflection right here. You do. I'm just tapping that. I'm not just making a dot. Look at that. And then I'm going to get some nice white on my brush again. And right here on the outer edge, I'm going to add a little like high highlight. See how I did that? So everything around, you can tell his eye is wet. You can see what is afoot. Just getting this. We're done. Guys, we did it.
Oh, you still have to sign it, though?
I do have to still sign it.
But this is really good. This is such a pretty little hummingbird.
It's such a pretty little hummingbird. He's so totally doable. Who wouldn't want to like hum along with him in some happy little way? I can't even imagine. I'm going to get my phthalo blue. I'm going to turn this a little bit on its side, and I'm going to be a little bit cheeky. I'm going to come right here along this wisteria. And I'm going to sign. Quietly and happily. I think that came out incredibly well, exactly like I pictured it in my head. I'm super happy with the result of this painting, but what's really important is that you are happy with the result of your painting. So hopefully you're sitting at home going, I cannot believe I did that. I didn't know that was inside of me.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out. Maybe I can do all those things that I didn't know I could do.
Before we go, can we remind them about our St. Jude?
Yes. So I was just touring St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's an amazing organization, and they really are dependent on community awareness and support from people all over. This is a hospital that cures and treats the uncurable. Okay, I'm too close to tour stuff. Gives hope to families that have no hope and changes the future for everyone around them. Tons of ways that you can support them. So be sure and go by their website and find out what you can do. We're going to be talking about them a lot. So they are my passion project. Anything I can do to help them be the incredible awesome that they are.
And Made It Con's next weekend.
And Made It Con is next weekend. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I'd like to see you at the Easel really soon. Bye-bye.